Hey, what's up, guys? I think we're having some technical difficulties. So I don't know where Rob is. I don't know how people talk with a toothpick in their mouth. So welcome to the Sidekick Show. Just me. What's up? Heroes World Online says, "What's up?" That's us. What's up, Lewis? Let's see what we got going on here. So welcome to the Sidekick Show. Normally, Rob Godet is with me. I don't know what type of issue he's having. I am John Ho, owner operator of Heroes World, and let's talk for a little bit and see what happens. If this guy doesn't show up soon, it's going to be a short show unless a bunch of you guys watch Drive and you really want to chat about it. It's going to be hard for me to solo it if a lot of you guys didn't watch it. So I would like to ask. Oh, here we go. Let's see if this works. Oh, look at here. Who do we have here?
Oh,
Johnny Come Lately.
wow.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Rob Godet, to the show. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, good sir.
Dude, I am so sorry. I've had a interesting evening of computer issues. Yeah. Also, it's a long weekend, and I'm tired.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't take a break.
Usually I draft up stuff for news and everything else during my lunchtime, during the day, John. Mm-hmm. And today, my lunchtime was spent outside by the pool, as evidenced by the colors and the dark tanning that's happening here.
Not quite Lobster Man, but
Yeah, no, not quite. So I apologize to everybody, but I'm going to be looking at my screen because I was typing up information before the show, and then my computer went into those hard service error, hard reboot required, yada yada yada, and it wasn't cooperating with me. I was like, oh man! So I took a screenshot of the stuff for Drive. And now I'm trying to get it just to sync to my iPad, so it's a bit of a bigger. Anyways, John, it's been a mess. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. I did not get to spend the afternoon in the sun. I did find it kind of suspect when you messaged me 10 minutes before the show with your news images, and I'm like, he's lucky I'm available. I'm always available. So, Rob, can we get into it? Can I ask, how was your weekend? How was your long weekend? People in the chat, anyone in the chat with us? I know Lewis. I saw Lewis in there. I don't know if anyone else is in there. But how was your weekend? Was it bonkers? It sounds like it was bonkers.
Admittedly, it wasn't that bad in so much as that it was a nice weekend. It was nice weather. My daughter was away at a friend's cottage. She actually just got home. Ooh. So it was my wife, my son, and I. My wife and I spent most of the time outside. Here's what I did, John. I finished off Under the Banner of Heaven. it's a 7-episode miniseries on Disney Plus. It's an FX show. Andrew Garfield was nominated for an Emmy for his acting portrayal. It takes place in the 80s, in 84, I think, with respect to a murder that may or may not have been done by a branch of the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. So if anybody's looking for a pretty cool, it's not it's not on par with True Detective, but if you're looking for that type of a TV series, or it's only 7 episodes, I would suggest Under the Banner of Heaven. I also went, John, and I checked out Top Gun Maverick for the second time. We took my wife.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
My son has seen it 3 times now. And then, I wanted to bring it down and show you, John. I have the Justice League New 52 Omnibus Volume 1. I started it on Saturday. I'm already halfway through. I'm just crushing it. So,
okay, so you're getting a lot of summertime reading.
Man, I finished off that Blake Crouch book called Dark Matter, and he just has a new one. I just bought it over there. He has a new one out that I've just picked up. So, yeah, man, I'm trying to do a lot of reading, and I think in 2 weeks, John, we get Heat 2 from Michael Mann, his novel. Heat 2, from the movie. So I'm actually going to pick that up, and I'm pretty stoked to read that as well. So that was my weekend. But how was your
weekend? I saw those social media posts. It's like Heat 2 is coming. And it's like, I hope people know that this is a book and they haven't been secretly filming a movie and all of a sudden they're going to drop it. That would definitely surprise people.
Yeah.
Another busy weekend at the shop. We've got our gaming going, not quite full effect, but it's starting to get rolling again.
Nice.
I didn't really get to watch. Oh, I kind of watched. Did you see that documentary or the doc? I don't know what you would call it, but it's called like the most hated man on the internet or something like that.
Oh, okay. So I actually have it on my list because when I'm at the gym, John, and I'm doing my 30-minute cardio before weights, I usually try to watch something. And I was watching where are you, DB Cooper, about the infamous DB Cooper, the guy who hijacked a plane in the 70s and he jumped out. It was made re-famous in Loki episode 1, right? But that one came up next, and I was like, "Oh, I want to watch this." But then I saw what the trailer was about, and I was like, "I don't know if I want to be on the treadmill and like seeing like
you have to watch out."
Happening.
It's about a guy who created a revenge porn site called, I think it's called Are You Up or something like that. And kind of what he did and the tales behind it and stuff like that. I don't think they actually show anything. I think most of the stuff is censored, but you don't want someone looking over your shoulder and going, "What the hell are you watching?" I always find it weird to try and watch stuff in public, even if you've got like an hour or something to kill at a Tim Hortons or something. So I watched a little bit of that. It seemed pretty interesting. I don't think I got to see the kind of like was moving around doing stuff. I think my wife was watching it. I got to catch up on a bunch of stuff. Paper Girls dropped.
Yeah. How far into it are you?
I didn't get a chance to check it out.
I
think you said it dropped early on a Thursday night. I didn't have time on that Thursday night, so I'm gonna have to try and sit down and watch it. I did see it opens right into I think Ali Wong right off the bat. I thought it was gonna actually open with the kids and stuff. I still got to read the comic book. I haven't read all of the comic as well, so I'm kind of like I'm gonna try and juggle both, but we'll see how it works out. So if anyone did watch Paper Girls, let us know. Pinching a 10 at the gym. So it looks like if anyone did watch Paper Girls, let us know what you thought of it.
There's no spoilers because I haven't finished it and this guy hasn't seen it yet. So
don't just drop the ending. But I don't know. I feel like the knowledge is out there. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. We missed our chance, Rob. We didn't watch it on opening night, so anything could happen. I am hyped this week because Bullet Train does drop, so I'm going to jump into a little bit of what's coming up in the weekend because I didn't get to do anything this weekend because that's kind of a boring tale. But coming up, Bullet Train. I don't know if you bought your tickets, Rob.
Not yet.
I want to see that one, and then I got a couple shows this weekend, so I'll be pretty busy. So I'll hopefully have something to tell you guys next weekend. So on to if anyone else in the comments has anything that they got a chance to do this weekend. So let's see. Bullet Train. Yeah, Sarah's down for Bullet Train. Lewis said he came. Yeah, I saw Lewis shop. He came by and picked up a very awesome Iron Man Hot Toys figure.
Yeah, I saw that. He posted it on his Instagram. It looks sick.
Yeah. Lots of cool stuff. Hot Toys.
Bad influence for like people for spending money. He keeps sending me these links for Lego stuff. And I was like, "Oh, I can't. I gotta pull the trigger, but I can't." And the last one he sent me was one. It was last night, I think. It was for the Aston Martin DB5, James Bond.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You're gonna bankrupt me?" And he goes, "It's only $30." Like, oh,
okay. $30. Let's go. Order now. Yeah, that we call that an enabler, right?
Exactly.
Like you get this, I'll get that type of things. That that's always fun. But looks like a lot of people are on board for Bullet Train, so we'll have to talk with Stu and see if we're doing anything with Bullet Train. But thanks everyone for sharing their weekend. I think Sarah was asking if Rob went to see Anne Juliet. I don't know if that's on your plan at all, right, Rob?
No, it's not in my radar, but I really can't talk too much about it right now. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Maybe things are happening that may or may not involve me.
Yeah. So I will mention that we did do Sarah Gord and a good friend at the shop, also Megan, joined us for talk about Anne Juliet, not typically in our wheelhouse of things, movies, music, that kind of stuff. So this was a musical. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. The whole first half is spoiler free. We want to kind of sell you on the idea of going to go see this musical. I think you're going to dig it. You can see in the picture there, we've got a picture of Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, The Weeknd, all kinds of music in this. They call it a jukebox musical. So if you didn't think this type of stuff was for you, think again. You might be down with it if some of that has kind of piqued your interest. So let me go over quickly what's going on at the shop. Sorry, I got to click back to Rob's news. So all the new releases, I did get a chance to post them up this week. I missed last week, but they're back up this week. Edge of the Spider-Verse #1 does drop this week, so this is going to be the conclusion of this whole Spider-Verse thing in comic book form. So they say, who knows? But you're going to see a whole bunch of new characters dropped in this, and we do have that new Spider-Verse movie kind of coming up next. And this is generally a pretty exciting universe and so it's great to see them jump back into it in the comic book form and a whole bunch of other titles. So check that out if you're not following us on Facebook, Instagram, Heroes World Online. And we do have a whole bunch of other goodies at the shop that get posted on there. New releases, new toys, tons and tons of new toys. So definitely check it out.
Hey, John, isn't there a bunch of omnibuses coming out this month too?
I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff, yeah. I get the problem, Rob. I know you like to hear all the omnibuses coming out. I have multiple. I don't know if you guys know that the Tale of Diamond distribution, which kind of got splintered off during the pandemic. They decided not to distribute during the pandemic, which kind of caused this rift between them and a lot of the companies they work with, Marvel, DC. Everybody is kind of going all over the place. So I get invoices from all over the place. So it's hard for me to track down, especially the omnibuses. They're handled by Penguin Distribution right now. So it's a little bit harder, but I'll try a little harder because I think people really do dig those. The omnibuses are doing really well at the shop. So thanks, Rob, for giving me that heads up. On the
well, you know what we could do? Not right now. Maybe one show in the fall if we want people who want to talk about omnibuses, what their favorites are, or which ones things that are coming out in the future that they would be interested in. Like we should maybe do something about that because I do think it's a growing form of collecting for people, right?
Yeah.
So
I really appreciate it, Rob.
The New 52 Justice League Volume 2 is coming out this month, the end of this month.
I think I just got one. I think it was like the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man run. So a lot of people like.
Yeah, that was a reissue of Volume 1. Yeah.
So good point, Rob. We'll have to maybe do like a monthly update or something like that. But let me kick it over to you for the news. I know you might need a couple seconds to kind of. Patch it all together.
I'm going to go all over the place because my news thing got lost. So I'm going to kick it off with, I guess, what would be considered probably the biggest news of last week, John, involving Aquaman 2. And that is that Ben Affleck is returning as Batman in Aquaman 2. Jason Momoa had posted this photo in a very small short video, walking into Ben Affleck's trailer. I guess what had happened is that there was a backlot Warner Brothers tour, and they happened to see Ben Affleck at the back, and he had filmed something, and I guess Momoa was like, way to go, Warner Brothers tour, now we got to make it official. I don't know if that's real or not, or if it was all just a hoax, but yes, Ben Affleck is reprising his role as Batman in Aquaman 2. He is also going to be in the Flash movie. Now, John, we can go all kind of nerdy, but I'm going to just, quickly just say that Aquaman 2 was supposed to come out in December. The Flash was supposed to be October or November this year. We knew Affleck was going to be in it, kind of handing the reins of Batman back over to Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is going to be in the Flash movie, obviously, and in the Batgirl movie. He was supposed to be the Batman for the DC universe. With what's going on with the Flash and all the shifting of movie releases, Aquaman 2 is now coming out in, I think it's March or February, and the Flash is now into July, which means this is like kind of like a backdoor, like quickly, hastily written cameo or a scene to be able to bridge this with whatever is happening in the Flash. John, what are your thoughts on Batfleck?
This is a classic maneuver that we often use on our younger kids when it's like, hey, look at this over here. Look at this shiny thing over here. Look at don't look at over there. The disaster that is a bunch of stuff going on over there. And look over here. We've got Ben Affleck back as Batman. So I think Rob did speculate that this is kind of like the idea behind this. Like you said, it looked like a hastily, or something that maybe wasn't planned originally and has just been kind of cranked out. And you said, why didn't they reveal this during the whole San Diego Comic-Con? Because I think you're right. I think they probably just did it, and they got to get us looking in this other direction and hopefully forgetting about some crazy stuff that's going on. So I good play. So many things going crazy at DC. Why not bring back some of the stuff that worked, I guess, or at least has more favorable. I don't think Ben Affleck's been any of the headlines for any nefarious acts. So yeah, let's look over there. Are you down? I know you're a big fan of Batfleck.
I got to be honest with you, John. Like this, this whole Snyderverse thing is over. We still have the vestiges with Momoa as Aquaman, with Ezra Miller as the Flash, although for not much longer. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I just kind of want there to be some form of direction now. The new head of Warner Brothers Discovery is making the DC a priority. We've talked about this in the past, John, on this show. We do know that another big news item, and it's not, I didn't send it to you, but it's that Alan Horn, who was a former executive over at Disney, a big wig over at Disney, is now consulting for Warner Brothers Discovery. So I am hoping that in the next couple of years, the ship will be righted, I guess you could say. But I've been wishing that in the past.
It's hella sideways right now, Rob.
I just feel like it's all over the place, man.
That should be sailing backwards at this point in time.
Yeah. Anyways. All right. Let's move on to Marvel and maybe the people who are doing things right, John.
Yes.
2 weeks ago we had San Diego Comic-Con, and Marvel took the time to announce there's 2 different Avengers movies planned for Phase 6, which are coming out in 2025. The first one is Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and the second was Avengers Secret Wars. The Kang Dynasty has now landed a director, John. It is none other than Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretin. He has signed on to helm Avengers the Kang Dynasty, which is scheduled to come out, I want to say, May of 2025. Again, guys, I apologize, guys and girls. If I keep looking down at my screen here, I usually have it off on my computer monitor, but computer issues. Now, I have no idea what this means for him going forward with the sequel to Shang-Chi, which is expected to be announced at D23, John. Don't forget, there was a number of missing titles in that Phase 6.
A bunch of blank spaces.
Right. So we anticipate and suspect that is going to be announced at D23, September 9th to 11th. However, there could also be an Investors Day in November, but I digress. Destin Daniel Cretin has been tagged with helming the Kang Dynasty. John, what's your thoughts on that? Is this something that has you excited? Are you happy, or were you kind of hoping for the Russos?
No, I think we need some fresh talent in there. I think we've seen a bunch of stuff by the Russos. We've seen other projects. They've kind of moved on to other things all over the place. So yeah, bring in the fresh talent. Shang-Chi, I think we've mentioned it on a bunch of our content that this movie kind of keeps getting better as we kind of rewatch it and we kind of know what to expect from it and things like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what he's got. If you listen to Simu Liu's book, or you read his book, he talks a little bit about working with him. So and how much this director kind of helped mold him into doing these performances and that kind of stuff, and it was on his side when to cast him in and stuff like that. So I do look forward to seeing what he's going to do with it. This is a big deal movie, right? This is one of the Infinity War Endgame kind of end caps to this Phase 4 Marvel stuff. So yeah,
4 to 6, yeah,
crazy times.
Steve asked, no word on Cavill coming back for Superman. There was a whole lot of conjecture back on Comic-Con that he was going to make an announcement.
If you guys are thinking it's maybe hidden information and DC is deciding to hold it back, that would be the dumbest move by them ever. If they had this in the clip in their holster, they should definitely bust it out. They should whip it out, per se, and let everybody know that Henry Cavill is returning as Superman. They are working on a Superman project, but sadly they have not said anything, so I suspect nothing is going on. So we might see him as Captain Britain first.
Yeah, exactly. I would prefer that. Speaking of dumb moves, John, MGM has lost the rights to Tomb Raider. As you know, John, I'm sure you played this game many a times back on your PS1. Tomb Raider was with MGM. Obviously, they had the last movie they had was with Alicia Vikander, which came out in 2018. And John, actually, you know what? I threw this on the other day because I was like, "What the hell?" I'm gonna put it on.
How was it? I remember it not. It's not good. To my recollection, it's not good. But the casting, this girl that they've casted as the part, definitely has potential. I think she was just given a bad movie to deal with.
Yeah, it was definitely an origin story, and it's
Yeah.
definitely not the Lara Croft that we came to know in the games that we played. Is it a bad movie? No. No, it's not bad. Is it a great movie? No. It's watchable on your Amazon Prime, which is where you can.
What's better, Uncharted or this? Because now Uncharted is
I'd go with
available.
Uncharted.
Yeah, Uncharted is more fun. So they could have, if they can kind of come to a middle ground and I don't know.
Yeah, no. So obviously now there's a bidding war to gain this IP. Obviously, the role will be recast. Alicia Vikander will no longer be in the role of Lara Croft, although I don't know if anybody's really upset. John, I see that next photo you've got ready to go. Might as well just get into it.
Yeah.
Last week there was a story that came out about Creed 3 being delayed until 2023. Michael B. Jordan is directing Creed 3. It's being delayed from this year to 2023. And then 2 days later was an announcement or a leak of some sort that a Drago movie was being written, starring Dolph Lundgren and the guy who played his son in Creed 2. You might as well throw that photo up.
No, I was going to wait for your reveal as to what the thoughts on this coming out are.
So there are some people who are kind of like, wait, why would you do that? And there are others who are like, this is some bullshit. And one of those people is Slash Stallone, who wants to knock this project out. He calls this pathetic. Stallone is upset that he was the one who created the character of Drago, Ivan Drago. He is upset about it. He says this is all about greed from the original producer of the Rocky franchise, and I'm trying to find his name, and I can't find it off the top of my head.
Yeah. So Drago, one of the
Erwin Winkler and family. Okay. Erwin Winkler's in his 90s, like 92 or 94. His two sons have taken over some of his producing roles, and they are trying to, according to Stallone, milk everything they can out of this franchise, and he gets nothing out of it. Dolph Lundgren has taken to social media to say, hey, this is a leak. It's just been preliminary talks. There's no script, this and that. I respect and love my friend, Sly. He is the Balboa and this and that. And so who knows what's going to happen there. But Stallone is not happy. And I got to tell you, I think a lot of people probably in the audience community don't give two shits about seeing an Ivan Drago flick, except maybe you, John. I think
I own at least 3 Ivan Drago shirts. I should have brought one out. Because whatever he hits, he destroys. At first I was gonna be like, "Yo, Sly, why you gotta be so tight and not let Dolph Lundgren kind of get a little bit of this kind of legacy sequel money kind of rolling in?" But it is unfortunate. Yeah, if he created the character and they're having issues with kind of like, how are you going to release this movie without Stallone's stamp of approval? Unless it comes out as maybe some type of foreign flick and maybe it's done in a different language and disassociated with the Rocky of America. I don't know. It's really bizarre turn of events.
I don't know. And I gotta be honest with you, like I really enjoyed Creed.
Yes.
Creed 2, I was like, yeah, it was okay, whatever. And Creed 3, I don't have a desire to go see it, to be honest with you. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so for me, this whole Drago thing, I'm like, I'll wait for it to hit streaming if and when it does. Moving on, John, we talked about television shows a few weeks ago. People were giving us their suggestions of TV shows that they've liked. And I had said that I had never seen Orphan Black, starring Canadian Tatiana Maslany, who is, as you know, going to be in She-Hulk the next couple of weeks for Disney+. Well, Orphan Black is a massive cult television series that was produced in conjunction with BBC America. And I think it was Bell in Canada here. There's now a sequel series in the works with none other than Kristen Ritter. She is joining, headline the Orphan Black Echoes television series, which will be at AMC. She's also going to executive produce the series. We have, it says, set in the near future, Orphan Black Echoes takes a deep dive into the exploration of the scientific manipulation of human existence. It follows a group of women as they weave their way into each other's lives and embark on a thrilling journey unraveling the mystery of their identity and uncovering a wrenching story of love and betrayal. That is Orphan Black Echoes. I don't have any real tie to the main property, but John, is this something that you are excited about? Those in the chat, let me know. Are you happy to see Krysten Ritter back on TV if it's not going to be Jessica Jones?
No,
or are you happy for a new Orphan Black?
Yeah. No, like you, I never really followed the series. I suspect that if it gets on some type of streaming platform, I don't know if it is right now, but if it gets on a platform that more people have access to, I feel like a lot of people didn't have access to whatever it was on back in the day. Krysten Ritter, I didn't really like her portrayal as Jessica Jones in Alias, but I honestly didn't really give her a chance. I didn't really watch much of that show, so I do like her in. I think she was on a show called the Bee in Apartment 13 or something, which was kind of funny.
Bee in Apartment 23 because I think it was trying to rhyme, John.
Oh, hey, good for you, Rob. I didn't know. And then she was in Breaking Bad and things like that. So I think she is a good performer. I just didn't like her in that particular Jessica Jones role, but maybe because I was such a big fan attached to the comic book, I wouldn't have liked anybody in that role. So yeah, shout out to that. I know Orphan Black, like I see Michelle says she's psyched for this. It's got a cult following, as far as I know. We used to carry the comic book. They did a little comic book series for it when the series after the series had ended, and people really dug that. And in that star Tatiana, people are big fans of hers, and to my understanding, she would. Sorry, I clicked the wrong comment. But from what I understand, she had to play multiple different characters, use different accents, and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So yeah, sure, why not? More content. Let's go.
And nobody hates having to end on a sad note, John. But a pioneer of the geek community, of the nerd community, of television in and of itself, John, a pioneer has passed away. Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura in the original Star Trek series and movies, died Saturday night. She passed away at the age of 89 years of age. Nichols shared one of the first interracial kisses in television history on Star Trek, and really did open up many doors and barriers for people to follow behind her. I'm not in a place to be able to comment on how important she is to the Black community. I will say though that I obviously mad respect for her. And what a trailblazer. So Nichelle Nichols has unfortunately shuffled off into the stars out in the universe there, John. And
condolences to family, friends, and fans. Definitely, we're losing a lot of legends lately. So
we are, John. I actually thought about that. We are now getting to an age, John, where I as young kids, you would probably remember when you would hear about when Orson Welles had passed away, mm-hmm. or Walter Matthau and this and that. They were our parents' generation of stars, and now we are finding ourselves losing those Titans, people that we grew up watching on TV and movies, who are into their 70s, 80s, and 90s, who are now passing away. So it is pretty crazy. But man, Nichelle Nichols just was a trailblazer, and just I can't say. Like I said, I have no right to be able to speak of how important she was to certain communities, but man, she was important to a lot of people. So wishing her family all the best. But 89 years old, John, that's not a bad age at all, man.
Yeah. Again, condolences, family, friends, and fans. Definitely a trailblazer as far as diversity and all kinds of other representation, 100%.
And you know what, John? Listen, I can't leave it on a sad note, but I'm going to leave it on a bad note because what the hell? I just feel like being cheeky tonight. The Flash, John, on the
Flash news and breaking Flash news. Rob finally has a reason to stop watching. And what is that reason, Rob?
It is finishing its run. Its 9th season will be its last. It's going to end with 13 episodes and will not premiere until the new year. It will run for 13 episodes in 2023 as a mid-season replacement. I think, John, that this is obviously to coincide with the Flash movie that's coming out in July. Mm-hmm. There was rumors a couple years ago that Gustin wanted out, but they had asked him to stay on for season 9. It was only supposed to be 6 episodes, which was supposed to end this year when The Flash was going to drop in November. Ezra Miller, and now we're into July. So
I was gonna say they could probably get the guy who played Flash in the movie to slum it, quote unquote, slum it, and do TV now, maybe.
Yeah. So The Flash will be ending its run on the CW. Obviously, it was a backdoor pilot episode in season 2 of Arrow. So hey, listen, nine seasons is nothing to shake your fist at. I have seen every episode except for one. It was a musical episode from season 3, I think. I refuse to watch that one, John. Singing doesn't belong in
your Flash TV show. They do it all the time. How relieved are you that they are ending the show and you don't have to? Because I know you're a completist. You're a completist, and you had to watch all of them. How happy are you that it's going to be off your plate next year?
Right, and you know what, my son and I, because in Canada, for those who are maybe listening or watching in the U.S., we don't get it on broadcast TV, and we haven't for the last 4 or 5 seasons. We used to have it up here on the Bell channel on CTV, sorry, and then it went away. It went to Netflix. And so we get it every week on Netflix. It's usually the Thursday or Friday. So in the last season, it's been Friday, because every Friday we drop. My son and I would begrudgingly watch it. We actually let 6 episodes. We didn't even realize there was that many build up. We watched. We were like, oh my god. And this is not the show that if I could pick a perfect season of TV, it would have, like, your top 10 seasons or whatever. Flash season 1 was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But much like Heroes, John, season 1. The subsequent seasons were not able to live up to the hype. So if you're looking for a wicked first season of one season of Flash, I would definitely suggest season 1. But
I would suggest Veronica Mars season 1.
That is a very good season. Yes, you know what? I did really enjoy Veronica Mars season 1. Flash is ending, 13 episodes, debuting sometime in 2023, season 9, and that is all she wrote for the news.
And that'll be the end of that chapter of Rob's life, unless they spin it off into some other show upon closing, or maybe they'll bring Arrow back. Who knows? It seems like these CW shows are starting to fall now, and it's getting kind of great. Like, what's left? What's left? Do we know? Arrow's done. I think a whole bunch of cancellations we saw earlier this year, right?
Yeah. So Arrow's done. Obviously, The Flash will be done. Legends Tomorrow was canceled. Mm-hmm. I believe it's only Superman and Lois is the only other DC. Batgirl was canceled. No, Batwoman. Sorry, Batwoman was canceled. So I think it's Superman and Lois is the only other CW
Superman
show.
and Lois. Yeah, no, yeah. Like you said, we didn't make it. Yeah. This is crazy times. Like, unless they kind of try and do some variety show that incorporates all these particular characters. There was talk about a Smallville animated series, but that wouldn't fill the void of a live action show.
Stargirl season.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Stargirl season 3 is coming out this fall, or is it August? This month or maybe September. But that was about HBO Max show that kind of.
I was gonna say, what about Titans and Doom Patrol? Are they not considered part of it?
No, those are not CW shows. Those are HBO Max shows. So Stargirl had kind of shifted over to, I don't know if it was originally HBO Max. No, it wasn't. It was something else. You know what it was? It was that DC All Access.
Stargirl, you're right.
Then it went to CW. Titans and Doom Patrol of DC All Access then went to HBO Max because of its adult and mature content. So Stargirl's coming out. Superman and Lois is still out there. I feel like there might be one more, but I can't think of what it is. Regardless, the CW is also being sold off, John, to like a company that it'd be as if Rogers picked it up or Bell, because it's being sold to a company that owns television stations mostly throughout the Midwest. So it is really the shell of what it once was. So
yeah. All right, crazy times. Who would have thought it would have happened on our watch? I guess. So we'll see what happens when Flash is gone, and then I think Michelle mentions that Superman Lois isn't technically the Arrow universe. So yeah, we'll see.
No, it's not. It takes place outside of it, right? So
yeah. So that's a crazy chapter that they were going to close. Begun with Smallville, I think. I'm pretty sure Smallville was the first CW DC show.
Because that was a UPN, right? I think, or whatever.
I don't know. You got a way better memory than me then.
It was the WB and the WB and UPN then merged to be the CW. Yeah. So
yeah. You're absolutely correct, sir. So, anyways, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rob. That was great. The news, you put it together last minute, had to read it off your teleprompter or makeshift teleprompter. So, thank you for that, and thanks for closing with the end of Flash.
Season you're 9. Welcome. Also, John, I mean, I know that I guess we went a little bit long on the news, and I apologize to people. I'm not sure how much we're going to get out of this movie, but let's get into it, John. Let's talk about Drive. Hopefully, everybody had a chance to check it out. It is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. If you have not, I would highly recommend watching the movie. Released September 16th, 2011, Drive is based on a novel of the same name by James Salas. The movie is directed by Danish filmmaker Nicholas Winding Refn, and I'm likely butchering it, who was best known for a series of Danish movies called the Pusher series, and a Tom Hardy starring movie Bronson, John. The movie is rife with a wait, what? They're in this reaction, as it stars Ryan Gosling, Carey Mulligan, Bryan Cranston, Albert Brooks, Oscar Isaac, Christina Hendricks, and Ron Perlman. With a budget of $15 million, the movie brought in $81.4 million at the box office, so not a bad turnaround at all. Audiences and critics alike praise the movie. Rotten Tomatoes score has a 79% audience and 93% critic score. But that's not all, John. Oh, no.
There's more. There's more.
There's more. It's dice. Is it dice? Is it Julian Prize? During the 2011 Cannes Film Festival, the movie received a 15-minute standing ovation. And Winding Refn was awarded the Best Director prize. Featured in numerous top 10 lists of 2011 by many critics, it also took home the Best Movie of 2011 from Empire magazine, and Rolling Stone called the movie, quote, a brilliant piece of nasty business. Again, the movie is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. This is Drive. All right. Lewis said he did not watch Drive. He only had 2 weeks.
We give you extra time, Rob. I figured we'd mix it up and save our overall thoughts till the end, and we just kind of jam about the movie and talk about it. So, man, did they have to? So, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. We're gonna dive right into it. This is a pretty violent movie at points. It was cut. I think some of the controversy, or not really controversy, but some of the expectations of this movie, the trailer was cut to make it look like car-centric, heavy. Some people said Fast and the Furious but I think it kind of made it seem like it was a lot more involved in the cars. And I think we only have maybe 2 or 3 really big set pieces with the cars in them, right? So I can see why people would argue that. But I think it's put together very well. Like the opening car heist, I guess, element, this character of I'm going to be at a time and place. You've got 5 minutes. If something goes down, I'm your man is kind of his attitude. And he's definitely got a past that they don't kind of explore. I can see why people criticize that. But man, did Blanche have to die so brutally with the shotgun to the head? I don't remember that being so graphic, Rob.
I loved it.
Yeah. Oh my God! Yeah,
I loved it. Listen, man, this is a very art house movie, right?
Yeah. I think originally they were going to release that as a big blockbuster, right? And then they I guess they decided to release it, and it's considered an indie kind of movie, to my understanding. Yeah,
$15 million is now considered indie movie. It's crazy, right? But yeah, no, it is. It's an independent movie, essentially, an indie movie. It's an art house movie, right down to its scenes. I know Comic Book Craig is not a big fan of this movie. He also doesn't like the fact that the car was able to change.
I think he's got a point. When movies sell themselves in trailers as something else, and you go pay your money to go see it in the ticket in the theater, and it turns out to be something else, I can understand why you're annoyed with that, right? Like I said, I'm pretty sure the original trailer made it look way more racy car, Fast and the Furious type action.
Yeah, see, I don't remember it being like that. I kind of remember when I saw the trailer, it just intrigued me that I really wanted to go see it. I wouldn't have you know me, John, I'm not a car guy, so I wouldn't have gone if I thought it was all the cars and shit, right? I mean, I thought got the sense it was something different. Just to respond to Craig, he doesn't, he loved that the car was able to change gears while going in reverse. Don't forget though, this was a stunt car. It was a car that was used for movies, and we all know that they modify and adjust a lot of those cars for movies to be able to do those type of things. So it wasn't a typical car that you.
Yeah, well, movies always very liberally do things when cars are going in reverse.
Right, but he used a stunt car in the movie that was used for movies too, right?
Yeah. So yeah. That one car he did, but I do like the selections of the cars they chose, like the Impala in the beginning. Can be what's called a sleeper. In the car world, you can tune it up to basically make it into a 4-door Corvette. So it's neat that they chose that. The Mustang, that at that time, I remember that was the brand new model. The 5.0 was, I think, brand new at the time, which is the big V8 motor. Rob, I don't know if you know how to tell the difference between the two Mustangs of that era, but if you're driving behind a Mustang, folks, in that little symbol in the back, there's typically a circle, and sometimes there's a pony in it, like a pony running or Mustang running, and sometimes it just says GT. If it says GT, that means it's the V8, the big boy, and you do not want to mess with him. Anything with a pony is typically a V8, a V6 or an EcoBoost. I used to have that exact generation of Mustang, so it was fun to see it on the screen. I think Gosling actually learned to work on cars for this movie. What are your thoughts on him in this movie? I read a bunch of stuff where they stripped a whole bunch of lines from him. And more have made him kind of just make like looks. I think his female co-star was like, it was basically like 10-15 minutes of just staring at Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling's an interesting actor because you've seen him do he does some funny parts, but he's like the straight man, right? And he's very smart, and he's always different in all of the roles that he plays. But in this one, he was just he was a loner. He literally kept to himself.
Strong silent type.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it didn't come across as insincere. I totally believed, he was brooding underneath, but like when he walked into that club, he was there to, kick ass and take names type thing, right? Like, without breaking a sweat. Like that was the crazy thing about it is
with the hammer, right? When he walks into the club, the strip club with the hammer.
He never had any fear in his eyes, right? Because he was a stunt guy. So I guess for him, his job was facing death on any day. So you become desensitized to that, I suppose, or I guess that's the idea behind it, right? So, I loved him in this movie, man. I really enjoyed it. I think him as an actor.
Yeah, I think it was really strong. Like a lot of those, I think someone described it to me as basically they hold the shot on him, and right when you think they should cut away, they basically take an extra 10 seconds and just go and kind of let him kind of do little nuances. Like, I had the toothpick earlier. He did like a bunch of fun stuff with that. And there's a whole bunch of like little things that he does, especially interactions with the kid who is Benicio, I think, or whatever his name is. Like little interactions with him, I thought were really clever. I think they're watching a TV show, and he's like, and the bad guy's a shark, and he's like, you don't think a shark can be like a good guy or something like that? And you're just like, I think this is like kind of like a metaphor for his type of character, right? Who's this like badass, kick your teeth in type dude. But I can understand a little bit of the criticism that maybe we needed to know a little bit more about this character.
But sometimes, though, don't you think though the mystery, like
the mystery is cool, but I can see why.
Like you think about, if you think about Clint Eastwood's spaghetti westerns, there was the man with no name. You didn't really know a lot about him, and that was somewhat of the draw of those movies, is that you didn't really get to know who this person was. You just knew not to fuck with them.
I like that. I like that he's a Jack Reacher type character, but know nothing really is coming. I think the director's already stated that he's not going to do a sequel to this. So it's kind of like when they end the movie, and it's kind of one of those endings that's not really conclusive or whatever. It kind of like leaves people on their paths, and you're kind of, I guess, you put it together yourself. I can understand why people are annoyed that, one, you don't know much about this character, and you know for sure he has some type of past, because he can definitely kick ass and he came out of nowhere and stuff like that. And then you have an ending like that. So it's kind of like I can see how someone could be unsatisfied, especially when you really get attached to movies. Like I kind of used to be a lot like that, but now I've kind of grown to appreciate, like you said, the art of the acting, the art of the storytelling, and all that kind of stuff. They did add Bryan Cranston's character, Shelley, I think he is, right?
Yeah.
To talk it up more. And I believe once they took Ryan Gosling's lines away, they let him, I think he stated on some interview that he improvised a lot of those lines.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe if they gave him more, I feel like he could have used another 10, 15 minutes in this movie, and then maybe could have helped balance this whole mystery man aspect if you knew kind of like
Yeah,
what
I
he
don't know,
was up
maybe
to.
because you know what, I do think that the movie was a perfect runtime. It was just over an
Yeah.
hour and a half, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I kind of feel like it was really tight. Like it told the story it wanted to tell. It told it in the way it wanted to tell it. And again, as you said, just when you think they're going to cut the scene,
Yeah.
or fade to another scene or whatever, the camera then goes in. Like they played a lot with your mind and your perception of time. And yet, I don't know if adding more to it would have then just kind of made it seem longer than what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I feel like I just wanted a little bit more of that character, because when he dies, I kind of don't care. You know what I mean? When he finds him, I think he gets his arm slashed or something like that, right?
yeah. He gets, yeah. And that was a brutal way to die, right?
Yeah.
But see, just as much as I loved Albert Brooks in this, and I was like,
Yeah.
I want more Albert Brooks. That guy is crazy. But
It's almost like they might have needed, maybe they needed to inflate the time for this to allow these other characters to kind of marinate, and you kind of get a little taste of even his mind just slipped my name, his name just slipped my mind. Ron Perlman, Ron Perlman, yeah. You can kind of see that he was like this wannabe gangster and stuff like that, and he wasn't quite there. So maybe he needed a little bit more time. But yeah. What do you think of like the rest of the cast? I was very surprised to see Oscar Isaacs in there.
I completely forgot that he was in this, and you're right, because since this movie had come out, we've seen him. Like I saw him in. Like for me, I remember him when me first seeing him in Ex Machina. I never and then all of a sudden he was in Star Wars and stuff. I don't recall him before that. So when I was
Poe Dameron was where he caught my eye.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh shit, because for me the two guys in Ex Machina both, and also starred Alicia Vikander from Tomb Raider. But when Star Wars first came out, both the guys, I was like, oh, both of them are from in that movie. That's crazy. And then not realizing that this one predated Ex Machina. And I was like, holy shit, I completely didn't realize Oscar Isaac. And he looks hella young. I was like, crazy, right? Yeah, I was like really surprised. And he was a small role, and yet it was so significant, right? Like,
yeah. He gets killed like pretty quickly, and he's just gone from almost the whole screen, except for the moment when Ryan Gosling brings him up, or I don't know if they even give him a name. Do they just call him the driver or something like that? I feel like they never mentioned his name, but like he mentioned it, and then the girl that just like slaps him, and then that's kind of like the last we ever hear of that particular character. But let's quickly talk, Rob. Who got it the worst? Like you said, there's some brutal killings in this movie. Who do you think got it like the worst in this movie? Like a lot of characters really got. Like I said, I think her name was Blanche, the red-haired girl.
Yeah, from Mad Men, Christina Hendricks.
Yeah. I was like, whoa! I was like, I don't remember how she dies in this. Did she get shot while they're running away in the car or something? And then I'm like, nope, she got her head blown off in slow motion. So that's pretty brutal. I'll throw out a couple ones. Like we said, the Shelley character gets her.
That really disturbed me. Like I was like,
oh,
like that one, right? Because it was with an old school razor knife.
Yeah, straight razor,
And then just to write down your arm, I was like, oh my god! And then to see the blood, that's me. I don't know, for me, like the shotgun to the head, like you're dead, you're done. But for Shelley to sit there and to feel that, and then watching your life drain out of you, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that's brutal. I think the guy that got it the worst, I think, is the guy in the elevator. Who gets his head stomped into oblivion. I'm like, if Gosling had just taken him out and maybe left him, it would have been not bad. But the fact that he stomped this guy's
like Gallagher with a watermelon
into paste really freaks out the I forgot what the female's character name was named, but yeah, it really kind of like that's what kind of pushes her to know that this guy is nuts.
Yeah.
So I don't know who we would give that award to. A lot of people just kind of got wrecked in this movie, for sure. Shout outs to Oscar Isaacs did play Apocalypse.
I never saw that, so
we tried to. You never saw that movie? Oh,
no.
You're lucky you.
I
saw that in theaters.
No, you're a fool.
I saw that in theaters. Oh man. Yeah, so Michelle says, they understood the importance of family. I don't know.
It is like the whole double crossing, like the whole thing was very interesting in that, Albert, like Ron Perlman essentially was betting against themselves, and to be able to the heist and all that stuff. Like it wasn't convoluted. It was unexpected, and it was simple, but it was kind of like, wait, what? Like all in one, it was kind of a little bit of a mystery, right? Mm-hmm. For us to kind of like wrap our head around, and you're like, wait, what the hell? But I mean, it made sense.
Well, the one guy who sets up the heist, and he's like, well, she gets this, and then he gets that, and then you get like, I think it's like F off or something like that, right? I'm like, I feel like these guys actually want this heist to take place. So why is this guy being like, I guess maybe he wants to dissuade the driver from helping, and maybe just have it the standard and Blanche character doing it, and then the double cross. Maybe they wanted to keep it simple. But I was like, this seems like a very big red flag that this guy is so like against you helping pull this off, which you guys are kind of trying to get things going. So let's jump to just, I guess, our overall thoughts on this movie now, Rob. So now you can now let's say I'll go first. I'll say overall, I do quite enjoy this movie. I think I enjoyed it at the time I watched it. I did enjoy it on the rewatch, and I feel like I will watch it again at some time. But I do understand the criticism of people who maybe wanted to see something like a Baby Driver, watching this and not getting what they thought they were going to get, or maybe just not being able to. I wouldn't say necessarily appreciate, but not down with these kind of like really long shots that are kind of they kind of hold and then go. So I can understand why you might not like that, but what are your overall thoughts on this movie?
I really
you said you watched it a bunch of times.
Yeah, and it's been a really long time. In fact, here's what irritated me is that I bought this on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I lent my brother-in-law John a number of movies like 4 years ago, and he has since moved. And every time I ask him, "Hey man, are you? Can I get movies back?" He goes, "Bro, they're in a box somewhere. I don't know what's going on."
So your brother Sylvester Stallone / Vin Diesel.
I love my brother-in-law Steve, but like I honestly, I have to next time either just don't lend him anything, or I have to make a list of what the hell it was, because every once in a while I'm like, what happened to this movie? And I'm like, Steve.
No, you 100% have to make a note of it somewhere now, especially with all the technology, because I've even been contacted by people who went like took a picture and was like, hey, is this yours? And I'm like, it might be. I don't know. I think I own that. I might have lent it to you. But these are the days that maybe your Blu-ray collection is disappearing anyways and being replaced by streaming.
Well, at any rate, so I had this movie. I really enjoyed it when it first came out. It was one of those ones I watched it like back to back because I was just so enthralled with it. Listen, you know me, John, I like a variety of different movies. For the most part, we generally kind of, you usually watch the standard popcorn movies, the Marvel movies, whatever, all the action movies. But I like when we get challenged to watch different things. And I mean, when not you and I get challenged, but when the directors challenge us with those shots to make you feel uncomfortable, to provide a different layer or depth.
Kind of like in real life, you would look away at this point. You'd be like, I'm done.
You feel awkward and uncomfortable.
I'm done staring at this person.
Right. So I like it when we get into that awkwardness and that uncomfortability. So for me, like, I really like this movie. I didn't realize that there were people who felt duped by the marketing material. This is the first, like, when you telling me about this is the first I'd ever heard about it.
I think I came across it a lot, especially when it first came out. So I think you do have to look at it at the lens of look at what Gosling is doing by not saying anything. So I think you have to watch that. And we did forget to mention the music, Rob. Like, the music in this is really good. Like I don't know which song I would choose. The one is I think it's Night Call, which is the opening one that's kind of like by Krasinski, I think. And then there's another one which is like it goes like a real human being, like a hero or something like that. I forgot what the song was like. So it's something like Hero. Those two tracks ended up on my playlist for a long time after this movie. So I think the music, a lot of people I think did credit. Oh man, the movie's not so great, but the music is incredible. So maybe try it again. Watch it with a kind of different lens and try to appreciate what they're trying to set up.
And you know what? I wish we had more from this director. And I'm actually there's something on my phone because he directed another movie, Neon. I can't remember what it was called. At any rate, and I was like kind of intrigued by that, but I heard it wasn't as good as the follow up. And then he did a series, and I put it on one of my watch lists, John. But do you think could I tell you which freaking watch list I have it on because I have 900? But I'm so irritated. Hang on, I'm trying to see if I can find which.
Okay, Rob looked
Too Old to Die Young. It's on Amazon Prime, 2019. Okay. It is 10 episodes, and it has Miles Teller and a couple others that you recognize. So, Too Old to Die Young. It was the director decided to make a TV series, 10 episodes. It's on my watch list because I do want to see it because I do like this director. I just wish, like, he's kind of just faded off and gone home, or he's done some other things, but I really like this movie, and I was really hoping that we would get something fresh. You know, when Edgar Wright first hit the scene, you know, he kept kind of following up with some, you know, wicked movies and different type of movies, whether it was a Cornetto trilogy or, you know, Baby Driver, you know, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, then Baby Driver, like we've talked about. Like, I love watching his movies, and I was kind of hoping that Nicholas Winding Refn would have been the same way as well, because I really probably would have enjoyed. There's very few directors of whose movies I will go out because I like the director. Denis Villeneuve is probably one of the only ones, but I think Edgar Wright and this guy I would have gone out for their movies. So
yeah. So I did want to shout out some recommendations. Rob's already kind of covered some other things that you can follow if you want to continue chasing this director. I would recommend, there was a game that came out, one of those kind of like fun, like kind of 8-bit style games. It's called Hotline Miami, and I did read that it was kind of inspired by this movie, and you kind of play this character and you go around viciously killing stages of bad dudes and stuff like that, and it has a soundtrack that is actually very similar to the Night Call track. I think it's Nightcaller or Night. I think it's Nightcaller. I think this track. Similar to that. And I do want to throw out a recommendation. I always try to recommend this movie whenever I can. Street Kings, starring Keanu Reeves, Forrest Whitaker, also has Chris Evans in it, Common, all kinds of definitely fun. Hugh Laurie, where he plays kind of a cop in this kind of gritty streets type setting, and he drives.
Hey, does it mention that Hugh Laurie is not American? Does it ever throw you off when you realize he's actually British?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. He doesn't use his accent in here. Yeah, when he was in House, like House was a phenom. I don't know if I said that right, but that everyone was watching that damn show.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you start hearing him in other projects, and he's got the crazy accent and stuff like that. But those guys, there's a lot of actors and actresses and performers that are like that have crazy accents that you have no clue. The guy who played Charlie Hunnam, who played Jax Teller, the most American of Americans in Sons of Anarchy, sounded so American. And then you hear him in interviews, and he's very, very British or whatever, or whatever you call it. Yeah. So much so that when you now go back and watch Sons of Anarchy, you will catch him slipping once in a while.
His
natural accent drops in. So shout out to that show before it got turned into trash. Anything you had in mind that you might want to recommend, Rob? Along the lines of this, I know No Country for Old Men, I think would be along these lines.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Baby Driver for the obvious comparisons. Although I
feel like it's a completely different movie, though. It has the music cues. It's way faster.
Yes, it is a completely different movie, but there are some parallels in some.
Yeah. With the theming. Yeah, he's a getaway driver. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't think of what else I would recommend that would be in line with this movie. I really wish I'm going to go check out that TV series, like I said, Too Old to Die Young on Amazon Prime. I'm going to check it out to see it, and I'll report back next couple of weeks if it's worth people's time. 10 episodes sometimes can be a big order. So I'll let you know. But I like this director. I like this movie. I'm glad they're not making a sequel. Sometimes all you need is the one to get you through the day, man.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes a one and done sits nicely on your shelf. You can appreciate that piece of work. So thank you everybody for sticking with us. I know some of you maybe didn't watch Drive or didn't feel like watching Drive or weren't feeling it. But if you were, thanks. Either way, thanks for joining us for this chat. Rob, do we want to continue the Gosling train for next week? Is that what we're doing?
I think it. Why not? I'm game for that. I sent a message to you, and you were like, "What the hell?" Last week, John, we saw the release a week this past Friday of The Gray Man with Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, and directed by the Russos on Netflix. Netflix's big budget, $300 million movie. I'm down. I saw it, and I would totally see it again for next week's show.
Okay, so let's go. It was on my list. It's got two actors that I love to see on screen. I heard Chris Evans is playing something a little different. I know a bunch of you probably have already seen it. So keep it fresh in your mind, or watch it again, and we're gonna chat about it next week. Yeah, see, so Lewis hasn't watched it yet. So Lewis, hopefully you feel like watching this one.
Also, you know what, John? It stars Ana de Armas, who
yes. You
your
definitely want to watch
of the last Bond movie.
Best part of that James Bond movie.
Shut up. We are
hands down.
James Bond movie. I swear to God. Never heard of The Gray Man, Michelle. It is on Netflix. It was written by
based off a book.
Marcus and McFeely, the same guys. It's essentially the four guys who brought you a lot of those Avengers and Captain America movies. Marcus and McFeely and the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a massive $300 million production, I think, or somewhere to that effect. And it was Netflix's #1 movie in like 80 countries or something. So
yeah. We're on a quest to find the best Netflix movie, and so far I think Extraction is the top of the heap. The one that I haven't seen yet. I'm saving it for Extraction 2 content, so don't worry, folks. We're gonna do Extraction at some point. So we'll see. Let's see how it measures up. Great man.
And it's based on a book. It's a espionage. Right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of book like the Terminal List, also based off a book. You know, we've got Jack Reacher in the mix now. So a lot of these kind of would you call them serialized books about various characters, espionage, like you said, military dudes or wandering vagrants or whatever you want to call it. You said Drive was based off of a book. I heard it was like it's a very short like prose book, or I don't know. I feel like it wasn't like a full novel, but who knows? I'll have to look into that because I did like that character. So so join us next week for Gray Man, starring Gosling and Chris Evans and Ana de Armas, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Hopefully Rob can join us next week.
Of course I'll be here.
Yeah, Rob will be here. Hopefully you guys come back for some Gray Man action and some other shenanigans and fun stuff. So we will see you guys on the next one. I don't know what's coming up from our other content, but stay tuned.
Yeah, keep your notifications because John's right. I don't know what's happening on the Heroes World podcast this week. There's a whole bunch of shit that's dropped. So we'll have it all.
Yeah. I think Prey. I think we're all looking forward to Prey, the Predator.
Up this weekend. Yeah. So if you haven't had an opportunity to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do so. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when new videos drop, like today when John dropped and Juliet. And I definitely recommend people to go check out that review with John, Sarah, Gordon, and is it Megan?
Yeah, Megan. Yeah.
Again, sorry.
I might be wrong too. I don't know. She never corrected me. So.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. See you on the next one.
See you guys.